Hey adventurers, so today is going to be the next 10 of my top 100 books of all time, and so this is going to be number 70 through number 61. So we'll get right into this. The number 70, I have Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Everybody knows this story, it's a classic story. First time that I read it unabridged that I can remember was just recently in November, maybe October, November, something like that. And so it's fairly recent, and this is a great classic. I don't know that Charles Dickens is my favorite author or my favorite classics author. I need to read more by him. I know that I read A Tale of Two Cities a long time ago, back when I was in school, and I didn't like it. So I need to read more by him and see if I like more by him other than just Oliver Twist. But I did really enjoy Oliver Twist. It was different than I was expecting it to be. It told a different story than I thought it was going to tell. And I like classics. I like the story that it actually told, and so yeah, it deserves to be on this list for sure. Number 69, I have Doomwhite by Brian Jacques. This is actually one of the Redwall books that I have read the most. I think, how many times have I read this? 3, maybe, times? There's a lot of books that I've read significantly. I really like Doomwhite. This one actually, part of what I love about it so much is it ties so heavily back into the basically the lore of this world. It ties directly into Mossflower. It takes place significantly after Mossflower along the Redwall timeline, but there's some things that tie directly back into that book. It's also, again, cool villains. I really like how Brian Jacques is able to take stories from take ideas that he's played with several times in his books and then do them differently each time so that they still feel threatening, so that they still feel new, so that they still feel different. And in this case, it is there's a giant adder, which always wins. Like, those are the greatest villain monsters that you can come up with for these Redwall books especially. But there's also ravens, which are super cool take on evil villainous birds. Then there's snakes, and there's just so much cool stuff that he does with these books. In this one specifically, I really enjoy this one. I really enjoy a lot of the things that it plays with, a lot of the tropes that it plays with. Anyways, I've gone on long enough about Doomwhite. We will continue on. Number 68, I have A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdallah. This is a epic fantasy, high fantasy, dark fantasy type thing. I have a review of it, so go watch my review if you want to know more of my thoughts for sure, because that's definitely the best place to get those thoughts. But I really like this book. I read it, the first time I read it was 2 years ago now. I read it in 2022, I think, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed a lot of what was going on, but I was a little bit confused with it, and I couldn't get to the book 2 immediately after book 2 was released, so I pushed it off. Now I have since reread A Touch of Light in order so that I could then go and read book 2. I still haven't read book 2, but that's okay. Anyways, this going through it the second time really helped me solidify the things that I was a little bit confused on. It just really helped me to understand that story that was being told so much more, and I really like the story that's being told. I really like the implications that it has for the future of this series, and there's a lot of really cool things. It is dark fantasy, and there's a lot of brutality to it, but I really enjoyed it. So number 67 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This is the 7th book in the Harry Potter series. I like this series a lot. This is me going off of my ranking at the time of writing this video, and so I have since rereading this, I have reread books 2 and 3, but I haven't made it through books 4, 5, 6, or 7 yet. So 4, 5, 6, and 7 are just sitting based on where I remember them being originally, on the one time that I've read these books back in 2020, was it, I believe, when it's either 2019 or 2020 that I ended up reading these books. Anyways, I really do enjoy this series. I enjoy a lot of what's going on here, but most of my memories actually come from the movies. Other than that, I know there's so much more to it in the books. I just don't remember all the details. But I do remember really enjoying Deathly Hallows, but not as much as several of the other books in the series. That then brings me to The Eagle of the Ninth by Rosemary Sutcliffe, which is number 66 on this list. I like this series, or I like this book a lot. It's Roman history, it's English history, British history, I guess is the word. It takes place in Great Britain, or in the British Isles at least. And I like what was done here. I like the story that Rosemary Sutcliffe told here, but I do not remember it well enough to put it any higher than this. It probably actually deserves to be lower than this because I don't remember it, but I do remember really enjoying it, and I remember enjoying the movie, and especially I remember there's one piece of the soundtrack which is Return of the Eagle is the piece of the soundtrack, and it's fantastic. So that's part of why I associate the movie with the book so much, because I like the movie and I remember the movie, but I remember really liking the book itself as well once I actually did go and read the book. It is another one that I need to reread. Number 65 for me is probably most people's favorite of the series, and that is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I really like this book. Again, it's a great book. I do need to reread it. That's kind of, so many of these books that are so low are ones that I need to reread because I don't remember them, and we're actually not super low anymore. We're in the 60s, and that's not terribly low. It's in the lower half, but still. Anyways, I like this book. I like what was going on here. I love the exploration of Voldemort's past. That part of the storyline was so interesting to me. Seeing, basically having the one-on-one training with Harry and Dumbledore, that's fantastic. All that stuff going on there. There's a lot of really good stuff in this book, so for sure I really like this book as well. Number 64 is The Sum of All Men, or The Rune Lords. This is the first book in the Rune Lord series by David Farland. This is one that I read in December of 2022, and then I read the entirety of the series in 2020. Well, I read books 2 through 8 in 2023, and I read the series. Part of what made me love the series so much, and I'm fully going to admit this, is that I got to read them with Nico from Nico's Book Reviews and have that discussion as we were going through them. That's great. That really helps you to enjoy a book, or to see different things about it that you maybe didn't pick up on originally, or all those kinds of things. I also love this cover. I think the orange and the blue just is really vibrant and really pops and just looks fantastic. Back, it's a wraparound cover and it looks pretty on the back too. Anyways, that's part of why I like it. But I also just really enjoyed the series, and this one is probably second or third favorite of the series. I don't remember, it depends on what I put in here is what we're gonna go with. Yeah, so that was number 64. I do have a review for that one, so check it out. 63 is Lightbringer by Brent Weeks. This is specifically books 1 through 3 because I haven't read 4 or 5 yet, but I do really enjoy this Lightbringer series. I love the magic system. I actually like the writing style quite a bit. I love the characters. I think that the character growth that we're seeing so far in books 1 through 3 has been really interesting. The exploration of the magic, the way that the magic system is tied into the character development and all that kind of stuff, I think is really interesting. There's a lot of really good stuff about the Lightbringer series. I just need to finish it, and I don't know when I'll get to, because my library for some reason doesn't have book 4 on audiobook, and so that's why I haven't finished the series. It has book 5, it has 1, 2, 3, and 5, but not book 4, which is dumb, but it is what it is. So I haven't finished Lightbringer yet, but I do want to finish Lightbringer. Number 62 is Eulalia, so another Redwall book. This is actually part of why I remember loving this book, I think has to do with, Brian Jakes is known, his Redwall books are known for a couple of things. One of them obviously is their animals, they're talking animals, so anthropomorphic fantasy, but the other two things that they're really known for is that they have a lot of food in them, a lot of descriptions of food, and that there's a lot of poetry in them. Much like Tolkien, Tolkien has poetry scattered throughout his books all over the place, and that's great. I love poetry, and I love seeing it, and I love when it's woven into these stories, or used as just a walking song, a break from, and then they walked from this place to this place. You actually have something that's going on a little bit. And so that's really nice it's a nice break for me. I'm so used to it in my epic fantasy that I actually miss it when it's not there, kind of. But one of the things in Eulalia is there's a couple of songs in Eulalia that in the audiobook the characters sing, and so you have a tune to them as well. And the mixture of the tune and the melody or the tune and the lyrics of one of the songs, just amazing. I love for one, it ties directly into the story and what's going on with the story and who the characters are and all that kind of stuff, and I love that. But it's also just a very pretty song, and I like that as well. So that's part of probably why I love Eulalia as much as I do, but it is also a good book, and it's about a Badgerlord, so that they're always going to be cool. Number 61 then is The Horse and His Boy by C.S. Lewis. This is the third book chronologically in the Chronicles of Narnia series, and I like this series quite a bit. I love I like this book specifically quite a bit. One of the things that I've always loved about it was the story of the horse and his boy. That's the heart of this story, is this relationship between Bree and what is the character's name? Shasta and Bree, the relationship between them, and then the other characters that come into the story, into Shasta's story. I really like that. I also like that it's a little bit less, well, because it's number 3 in the chronological order. We read The Magician's Nephew, and then we read Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is so allegorical that it's kind of almost in your face to some degree. And I like that The Horse and the Boy kind of sets that aside a little bit and just tells a story set in the world of Narnia, or in this world of the Chronicles of Narnia, because Narnia is a specific location. But I like that a lot, and because of that, I've always loved this book specifically. So that's kind of why I have this one here. So that is numbers 70 through 61 of my top 100 list of books of all time, whatever I'm calling it. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys again soon. Stay well.